It was a little more than a decade ago when Subaru introduced the Tribeca. It was their first attempt at a three-row crossover for the American market. Unfortunately, it suffered from polarizing styling, and in terms of capability, it could only tow 2,000 pounds. It might have had all the basics checked, but it simply wasn't good enough. Well, now Subaru is back with a proper three-row crossover vehicle. It's called the Ascent. Did they finally get the formula right? Let's find out. One of the most exciting things about this new Ascent is what's right here. This is an all-new 2.4-liter turbo boxer engine. It's good for 260 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque. Subaru designates this design the FA24. It features all aluminum heads and block, which saves weight. Like most new engine designs, the FA24 uses direct injection to improve efficiency. And because the turbo is a twin-scroll unit, dreaded turbo lag should be a non-issue. The top-mounted intercooler is fed through ducting that takes in air from the front grille. This removes Subaru's traditional yet aerodynamically inefficient hood scoop. Could a more aggressively tuned version of the same engine appear in a next-generation WRX? Quite possibly, but that is just speculation. In terms of how the FA24 sits in the Ascent, as you can see, it's very low in the chassis, which should give the Ascent the handling characteristics we've come to expect in a Subaru. As important as the engine is, a proper three-row needs space not just for your whole family, but they also need room for the stuff that they carry with them. The Ascent boasts 17.6 cubic feet with all three rows still folded up, and more space than the Honda Pilot. With the third row folded flat, this cleverly stowed cargo cover can be deployed. When you're done using it, just simply put it back in its slot. With all three rows folded down, the Ascent has a whopping 86 cubic feet of cargo capacity. Note, this is with bench seats in the second row. We did notice that if you change over to captain's chairs, which are also an option, they don't fold down as flat, impeding total capacity. If you need every inch of that interior, keep this in mind. Now the big question, can a 6'1" male fit into the third row? With the second row slightly pushed forward, it's easy. Not that I'd really want to make a summer home back there, but it will do in a pinch. I even get a pair of 2.1 amp USB sockets for charging my mobile devices. In limited trim, the Ascent includes an Aircon panel for the second row passengers, as well as USB sockets and heated seats. Up front, Subaru has certainly embraced a more traditional design versus the outlandish Tribeca, which makes for a very nice place to spend the day. But the central star is the infotainment system. The Ascent features version 3.1 of Subaru's infotainment system. Now, the nice thing about this is that it is multi-touch, and it works very much like, say, an iPad or anything else you've ever used. Let's go ahead and launch CarPlay so you can see, yep, it is exactly what one would expect. It's very large, super easy to read with this very nice display. But like all of these types of systems, you do get fingerprints as you use it. Now, moving on, we have maps built in. You do get 3 years worth of maps for free. After that, you have to pay if you want to upgrade the built-in map system. Now, a lot of people go off-road in Subarus, so of course having built-in maps is a major advantage over relying on Android Auto or CarPlay, which does require data connections, which you may not always have up in the mountains or in the parks. We'll do menu, we'll just do search for destination. Let's look for the nearest Starbucks. As you see, it's very quick. I misspelled Starbucks, so will it correct for me? Hey, it found Starbucks when I did a mistyped search. That's kind of cool, actually. There it is. It even gives me the weather and expected arrival time, and I have 3 different routes that I could take to go there. Very nice. Down here we have physical buttons, which is important if you're in a cold area and you're using gloves that don't have the touch sensors on them. This way you can use it with any mitten or glove if you need to. It also gives a nice tactile feel. Now, the overall quality of these buttons is a little bit on the cheap side. I mean, I feel like I rag on almost every single car, but honestly, guys, how hard is it? This feels really loose. It's a little wiggly. It'd be nice if they maybe put a little metal ring in there or something.
but the functionality is good. The functionality is there. Moving on down here, we have Aircon, and the Aircon, again, it's rubberized with little plastic on the outside. They're super easy to use. I just wish they would feel a little bit better. But they do provide Aircon in all 3 rows, which is kind of cool. My kids would really like that. And of course, this being a limited trim, it does have heated seats. If you go all the way to the touring model, that actually will include heated and cooled seats in the front row. In the second row, we just have heat as an option in certain trim levels.
Our Limited also included a leather-wrapped heated steering wheel, power-heated exterior mirrors, 2-position driver's seat memory, and a flip-down passenger mirror as standard equipment.
USB sockets, lots of them in this car. You're looking at 8 total. One cool little feature of the USB sockets here is that they actually have these little plastic covers to prevent sand and dirt from getting inside of them. That really plays to the fact that this is a vehicle for people with active lifestyles. Neat. And then we have auto vehicle hold over here, which is basically hill up or hill down auto braking. And then over here is X mode, which we'll play with later. Subaru has continued with their multifunction display up above here as well, and we use the buttons here to control the different things that we can see. And then this one shows you status of eyesight, including all the different features like the auto high beams, auto lights, blind spot, rear auto braking, and whether or not it's detecting a vehicle in front of this vehicle when you're doing the adaptive cruise control system. Now, if I hit the button down here, X mode, it then activates the X mode screen. Like most Subarus today, this includes a standard gauge cluster that has tach on the left, speedo on the right, and a multi-function color display in the middle. It gives you useful information such as current miles till empty, your average MPG, and it also will tell you how long you've been driving, how far you've been driving, what your speed is, as well as your tire PSI on a tire-by-tire basis. That's important. Overall, it's a very functional and useful system. I would like for this controller to maybe be in the dash somewhere because I just feel like it's not really necessary to take up the real estate of the steering wheel with such a large switch that honestly just doesn't do a heck of a lot. I mean, it gives you like 4 or 5 different screen options here, some of which are very similar to the screens that are up there. The Ascent also is the first use of a heads-up display system, which will illuminate various colors based on the status of the vehicle. When you turn on lane detection, it'll actually illuminate 2 little amber-colored LEDs that reflect off the windshield to tell you that it's active. If you go off the lane, it'll then flash that to tell you where it is. It's a really smart way of providing a heads-up display without making it overly fancy, like by putting an LCD up there with all this information, because sometimes all you need is basic information. Stop, go, you're going out of the lanes, caution, you're about to hit somebody, stuff like that.
Compared to Subarus from even a few years ago, this Ascent is a massive step forward, not just in comfort, but in safety as well. This trim level includes a standard backup camera with rear cross-traffic alert, as well as blind spot detection. Of course, eyesight is now standard on all Ascent models. This is what enables collision warning, lane detection, and adaptive cruise control capabilities.
The model we're testing today is a Limited. It is priced at just south of $39,000. This one does have a couple extra options that brings it up to $42,900. Including destination. One of the most interesting things about the new Ascent is that it is powered by an all-new Boxer motor. Here it's a 2.4-liter unit with 4 cylinders, it's direct injected, and it's turbocharged. It's connected through a constantly variable transmission, which Subaru is so prone to offer these days, and it of course powers all 4 wheels using Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive system. Come on! Oh, that's CVT. It also has a 5,000-pound towing capacity. On this model, you're looking at an EPA rating of 26 miles to the gallon on the highway and 20 around town. If you forego some of the amenities like this panorama sunroof, it brings the weight down, which gives you 1 extra MPG. which could be helpful if you commute a lot. Now let's try a 0 to 60. Go ahead and stop here. Now the car is in standard drive mode. There's really nothing to it. I'm just gonna mosh the gas. And 3, 2, 1, go. Revs up to 4,000, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. Okay, so that may not seem fast by sports sedan standards, but honestly, for a 3-row crossover, that's not bad.
And more important than overall speed is just how well the Ascent handles on a variety of surfaces. From gravel to pavement, Subaru's all-wheel drive system uses an electronically managed transfer clutch to shift up to 100% of available torque front to back, or side to side. It does this all automatically, of course. This makes the Ascent very easy to drive on pretty much any surface. When things get rougher, just engage X mode for drama-free, low-speed climbing and descent capabilities. But all-wheel drive doesn't just benefit the driver in slippery conditions. It's also good when the road gets curvy to help minimize over and understeer. Engaging the paddle shifters, the CVT emulated a stepped transmission as we hammered through the corners. Honestly, driving the Ascent aggressively is certainly something one can do, and it is fun, but you do feel the size. And that brings me to the Volkswagen Atlas. Like the Ascent, it's an all-new large crossover built for the American market. When driving and especially parking the Atlas, the size is very apparent. It feels huge, much bigger than the Ascent, because actually it is slightly bigger. The Atlas is 2 inches wider and 1 inch longer. The difference that makes in drivability is astounding, with a huge tilt towards the Ascent. The benefit of the Atlas's dimensions are in cargo capacity. It'll haul up to 96.8 cubic feet of stuff, 10 more cubic feet of cargo when compared to the Subaru. For certain buyers, that is all they need to know. However, if you prioritize adventure over sheer capacity, the Ascent is a better choice. Whether you have a growing family or just lots of friends, the Ascent is a near-perfect mix of utility and fun that lets you take everyone and everything you need with you, down the street or to someplace entirely new. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to also watch our Ascent towing and off-road capability videos right here. And be sure to subscribe for more great videos.